cold October Sunday, and cars pour into Donington Park Circuit, packed with pilgrims. Motor racing fans worshipping at the shrine of just one man.
Mansell.
Mansell.
Nigel Mansell.
Well, to see Nigel Mansell, the children want to see him.
I'm here to see Nigel Mansell.
He's a winner, he's a trier. He keeps at it until he achieves results.
He's British, and that's what we all like to see, somebody winning, isn't it?
They came to see him, he came to see them.
Right, we'll start the line. The first 30 people. I've come for the fans, and you know, we have a reciprocal agreement where you know, I just love them to death, and they support motor racing, and then this weekend, and it's just fabulous.
Ford had offered Nigel a seat in their Mondeo, fastest car in the Touring Car Championship, for the end-of-season shootout, a fun event where the quickest start at the back. Despite a misfire, Nigel had gone well in practice and was placed in the middle of the grid. But he had other plans as well. He was to drive a TVR Tuscan in the one-make race and, despite minimal practice, had qualified third fastest.
What a great thrill that is. I mean, I think it's a fabulous car that you can go and buy and then come and race safely. And it's a handful, but it's an enjoyable handful.
Why are you driving that TVR?
That fast. To be honest with you, to give the fans an opportunity, when you only have one race, something goes wrong, you're no fault of your own, you're knocked off at the first corner, everybody goes home disappointed.
There was no thought of such worries as the huge crowd rose to 60,000, matching the turnout for the British Grand Prix at Silverstone in July. All drawn by one man? Well, not quite.
Nothing to do with Mansell, honest.
So your man Tiff Needell put one over Mansell? Interesting.
Well, Tiff, you've got one fan at least. Tiff had two chances to renew his rivalry with Nigel. His Écurie Cost Cavalier would line up just ahead of him on the grid, but the TVR drive was less successful. A blown engine in practice meant starting 8 places behind Nigel in the Tuscans. How long had it been since they'd raced together?
I think the last time must have been about 1977 when we were both in Formula 3, 77, 78, and he seems to have done quite well since.
How do you think he's going to drive in this TVR race?
I think he'll go really well in the TVRs. It suits his style of driving. They're brute horsepower cars. They don't handle that well. You've got to take them by the scruff of the neck and really, you know, make the most out of them. And that's really something Nigel's always been so good at. So I think he's going to really be up front and battling for the lead.
In the TVR race, there must be some people who know the car a lot better than you do.
I think everybody.
And probably many that know Donington better, because you haven't raced much here, have you?
Oh, not for the last 10, 11, 12 years, yeah.
So what's it going to be like if you get beaten?
No problem. I mean, I'm going to enjoy it, and I'm going to be the first to congratulate whoever does. I mean, you know, we haven't come here to set the world alight from the driving point of view. We will drive to the best of my ability today, and I should try and get the best out of whatever machine I'm driving. But you know, the thing is to have fun and race.
The touring car shootout may have been intended as a bit of an end-of-season party. These tin-top racers take any racing pretty seriously. No one wanted to lose, and the bumping and boring started on the very first corner, with the inevitable happening. Nigel was enjoying himself, watching all the antics going on about him and learning how the front-wheel drive Mondeo behaved on the limit. It was obviously a different kettle of fish to Formula 1 and Indy cars, and he got somewhat out of shape at the old hairpin, letting Steve Soper's BMW through. But his main problem was being slowed by a dodgy fuel pump, and from lying a lowly 7th, he was pleased that the pace car came out to bunch everyone up and put him back in contention. With 25 laps gone and the engine back on song, Nigel was on a charge and the crowd loved it. Back past Soper 1 lap to claim 4th place, and on the next up to 3rd, muscling past Tiff on the same bend and pushing him onto the grass into the bargain. In the kerfuffle, Steve Soper slotted through as well. It looked like a charge to the front, except that this time the slide at the old hairpin was too wild to control. Steve and Tiff tried to slip through on the left, but Tiff didn't make it. It was a major shunt, and the race was stopped immediately while Nigel was carefully removed and taken to hospital, suffering from concussion and severe bruising. When the race was restarted, Tiff's Top Gear teammate David Leslie came home first, while Tiff found his own battered and bruised Vauxhall wouldn't turn right properly, and he fell back to finish 6th. Still, he was happy to have come through the Mansell drama in one piece.
He was on a charge and he dive-bombed me at Redgate. I tried to hold him off. We exchanged wing mirrors and I found myself on the grassy bit while he was still on the tarmac. So Soper got by me as well, and we charged down the hill in that or into the old hairpin with Nigel and Soper and me. And Nigel just went for the big send through the old hairpin, obviously on a charge trying to catch up. Just got it sort of rally drivers sideways, but unfortunately, even if the rally driver boys think they can catch them, Tony, when they're 45 degrees sideways with front-wheel drive, you ain't going anywhere but off. And Steve and I both thought he was going to go straight off to the right, so we went to go by him on his left, and Steve got through, and just then Nigel went this big tank slapper back across in front of me. And I just caught the back of him as I went bouncing through, and that just sort of pitched him even worse right into the Starkey's Bridge parapet. It was a big shunt.
It wasn't the happy ending the crowd had been hoping for, and it left a hole on the grid for the TVR race. But fortunately, Nigel was able to fly home to Florida the following day, where he later reflected on the incident.
I view that this accident was avoidable, and I didn't go off on my own. I want that stated. I was helped off the last bit quite significantly to have the accident of the magnitude I had. And, you know, motor racing is regrettable, and I hold nobody or any parties at fault. But when I saw the other car on film hit me as hard as it did, then it's obviously, I understand now why I went off in the manner I did.
Tiff, of course, has his own considered reaction to this analysis.
Well, I have to say I was rather disappointed to hear Nigel's comments. I went off the racing line and did everything I could to avoid hitting him. But after all, I was there to win the race, and a racing driver always looks to take advantage of other drivers' mistakes. You don't just stop in your tracks as soon as another competitor gets into trouble. Besides, I haven't heard Nigel apologising for ruining my day.
Despite all the hoo-ha, Nigel's British fans will be hoping that it doesn't affect his earlier intention to come back and race in Britain again next year.
If the fans would like me to come back and race in similar races again next year, we shall try and structure it and do at least one again. They are talking very significant contracts to drive the TVR for Mondial. So, I mean, it's just such a lucrative deal I can't turn down.